How far can a mother go to secure her child's future? Would she give up her dreams, her comfort, even her very identity, just to see her child rise? Time and again, mothers around the world have shown us that their love knows no limits, their courage no bounds. The love of a mother is perhaps the most powerful force on earth. It shapes futures, builds character, and often makes the impossible possible. Mothers are not just caregivers. They are the architects of dreams, silently molding their children's lives with their sacrifices. While many of these sacrifices go unnoticed, their impact echoes for generations. Maternal sacrifice isn't just a poetic phrase, it's a reality that has helped millions of children break free from poverty, trauma, and hopelessness. This story is a tribute to that extraordinary, selfless love. In the slums of Calcutta, amid narrow alleys filled with the scent of spice, sweat, and survival, lived a woman named Mena. She was a widow in her early 30s, her life marred by hardship and tragedy. Her husband, a rickshaw driver, had died in a hit-and-run accident when their only son, Arav, was just 4 years old. Mena had no formal education, no family support, and barely any money. The walls of their tiny room were paper-thin, and the roof leaked during the monsoon. Mena took up every job she could, washing dishes in 5 different houses, sewing clothes late into the night, and selling small handmade trinkets at the local market. Every rupee she earned was counted, every meal carefully portioned, but it was never enough. The society around her did little to help. Most advised her to put Arav to work, to accept their fate. She had only one dream now, to see Arav become an engineer. She had seen the boys in crisp uniforms go to school in the mornings and imagined her son walking among them. For her, Arav's future was the only hope, the only light in her world. Mena's journey was not just one of survival, it was of resistance and resilience. She fought against the norms that told her she was not enough, that her son would follow the same path of poverty. Despite earning barely $150 a day, she enrolled Arav in a modest private school because the local government school was overrun and underfunded. To make up for the tuition fees, she sacrificed her meals, eating only once a day. She wore the same torn sari for 2 years, using her saved money to buy textbooks for Arav instead of a new blouse. When winter came, she gave him her only sweater and wrapped herself in an old shawl patched together from scraps. She also began working at a library nearby, mopping floors and dusting shelves just to sneak a peek at the books that might help her tutor her son. She couldn't read well, but she learned enough to help him with his homework. She stayed up late learning basic math and science from discarded school books. Over the years, her efforts bore fruit. Arav began excelling in school. He'd won scholarships and earned praise from teachers. But the journey was still steep. When Arav reached class 10, he needed a smartphone for online classes due to the pandemic lockdown. He had no electricity at home, let alone a phone or internet connection. Mena made a painful decision. She sold her Mangal Sutra, her last physical memory of her husband, to buy a second-hand smartphone. It wasn't just a piece of jewelry, it was her pride, her last tie to the past. But to Mena, her son's future was worth more than gold. The turning point came when Arav passed his 12th board exams with flying colors. He secured a place at one of India's prestigious engineering colleges, something unimaginable for a boy from the slums. The fees, however, were astronomical by their standards. Even with a partial scholarship, they needed $80,000 for the first semester. Mena went door to door, pleading with the employers she had worked for, requesting advances and offering to work without pay for a year. She mortgaged their only shelter, their one-room home, for the remaining amount. When Arav found out, he cried and said he would quit and find a job instead. But Mena held his face in her hands and said, "If I could sell my heart to buy your dreams, I would. Let me do this, Beta. One day you will build us a home stronger than any we've lived in." The image of that moment, Mena, standing in her patched sari with tears in her eyes, holding a college acceptance letter in one hand and the eviction notice in the other, captured the essence of maternal sacrifice. Today, Arav is a software engineer working in Bangalore. He lives in a modest 2-bedroom apartment and sends money home every month. He visits Mena often, now living in a better home, one with electricity, a fan, and proper walls that don't leak. He tells people proudly, "My mother built my career with her hunger, her sweat, and her dreams." Mena never went to college, She never wore gold again. But she wore something far more precious, a son's success, stitched into the wrinkles of her hands and the softness of her smile. The story of Mena and Arav is just one among countless untold tales, where mothers have lifted mountains so their children could fly. Whether it's a migrant worker walking hundreds of miles to bring her child home during a lockdown, or a mother in a refugee camp teaching her child the alphabet with a stick and dirt, their love is a force that reshapes destiny. Do you know a mother like Mina? Is someone in your life made a sacrifice that changed everything for you? Share your story in the comments. Let us celebrate the women who shape our world silently, powerfully. And don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring, emotional content about love, family, and the sacrifices that make dreams come true.